right, welcome everybody back to DeFi Raiders. My name's Relentless. Be your host today. Today we're going to be talking to the team from SPY Financial about the project they're working on. Been connected with Life for a while. He reached out to me about what they're working on. Couldn't wait to get him on here to hear everything they're doing. So thanks so much for joining us today, guys. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves and then give a little background on the team?
Yeah, I appreciate you having us here today. Just want to start off with that. But yeah, my name is T. I'm the founder and CEO of SPY Financial. I started out in cryptocurrency about 2020, kind of moved from there into DeFi, nodes, rebasing tokens, and then moved from there over here into NFTs. And I've been here ever since.
Yeah, I'm Life Eternal. I've been in crypto since about 2016. On top of some other investment opportunities I've done over my lifetime, I'd entered basically off of folding at home I used to do, turned it into cryptocurrency mining because it seemed like what's the difference sort of deal. I'm using computing power to gain something for myself. Then turned more retail investor, and then into DeFi, then NFTs, and now I help manage and reach out to a lot of projects. I got my hands everywhere.
Very cool. Yeah, that's the truth. I mean, we got linked up through another project when you kind of came on, and how that all kind of evolved is pretty cool. But yeah, awesome. Thanks for the introduction. Happy to have you guys on. You want to go ahead and give kind of the high level overview of SPY Financial before we dig into the details?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give that out to you. So, SPY Financial is an NFT project building on the Avalanche blockchain. So, at SPY Financial, we started with the building block of giving back to our community. So, we started with a free mint called the Secret Stickman Squad, or STIX for short. With this collection, we wanted to make it more than just a free mint that would bank on the secondary royalties. So, what we've done is we set our royalties to quite low percentage at 2.08%. We kind of tried to do something with that and do a little play on with the spies and do a 007, like 2.07. But our contracts didn't really work out that way. So we're here with the 2.08%. But even with such a low percentage, we have not taken anything from this collection from mint day back in November. So instead, we've actually been hosting different events to be able to give that back to our community. So these events have been things such as activity and invite contests, games that we host with these guilds that we have inside of our Discord server. So these guilds were actually an idea that we brewed upon something that was brought up in a Twitter space by a community member. They were initially intended to allow people who still wanted involvement with our protocol but could not or did not want to be committed to the activity side inside of our Discord. So with the feedback we got from that space, we kind of took it, we built it up. Life actually was the main factor in this, and he brought it up in the space itself, kind of like really, really super quick. And we actually created 3 guilds within our server: the HQ guild, the NFT guild, and the coin guild. So owned with their own respective properties. Like the HQ guild is for the people that may not want to be there or can't be there all the time. And then the NFT guild is for people that are really bullish on NFTs, and the coin guild is going to be for people who are really coin bullish. And it kind of creates a smaller community in our bigger community to allow people to share their investment strategies, but also have a voice in the protocol. And as we further develop, we'll come to these guilds and ask them to vote on certain things as well. But aside from those guilds, these sticks, the Secret Stickman Squad, will be used to gain access to our next collection, the AVAX Spies. So with our ecosystem, you will have to burn 1 stick and pay 1 AVAX to mint an AVAX Spy. This mechanism essentially makes the sticks your key to the gate of our kingdom that we are building. So once you burn your stick, pay 1 AVAX, and receive your AVAX Spy, you will then be able to take that AVAX Spy and stake it. So with this staking, you will actually earn our native utility token called Espionage, and with that Espionage, you'll be able to buy into our sweepstakes, which is just another mechanism that allows us to give back to our holders. So items that can be included in these sweepstakes can vary. We will be coming to the community to see if they want us to sweep certain NFTs or certain tokens that they seek interest in. But we always love community feedback, so we will always take suggestions into consideration for what should be swept for those sweepstakes. But ultimately, options will be brought to and voted on by the guild members to decide. So then the way we will kind of be going about funding those sweepstakes is we're going to be taking a percentage from that mint, from the AVAX Spies mint. 70% from that mint will be invested. And then when it comes to claiming those rewards, we're going to actually take 50% to reinvest back into that treasury, and then 10% to fees and 40% to actually funding the sweepstakes itself. With the way we have this system set up, and as time goes on and our compounding continues to grow, the project and the community will exponentially benefit as well. So the team will only benefit as long as the community can benefit because of this compounding strategy and the way we kind of have our system set up. The system is envisioned to allow members of our community to kind of get into some of those higher priced projects that they would not necessarily be able to get into or participate in prior to holding one of our NFTs. So really here at Spy Financial, we're about community, about giving back to the community, while at the same time, supporting the ecosystem around us as well.
Very cool. Thanks for the thorough breakdown. Kind of answered a lot of the next questions, anyways, with kind of your fee breakdown and your fee structure, which I think is great. You guys have a really low percentage of fees that are going directly to the team and marketing, and really pouring so much of that back into the system itself, which will then feed the community, which I think is great. I mean, a very low fee structure for royalties, which is also awesome. And then I think it's super cool. And I love projects that do this that are kind of self-funded, because you're no ties to VCs, no commitments to outside influence. And then also it's kind of that like self-motivator of we're putting our own money into this. We need to make this happen. And you're doing it for the right reasons, as opposed to like, this person gave me a certain amount of money, so I got to make them happy. Now you get to build it with your outlook, and I think that's super great. So I
Yeah, and if I
appreciate.
could respond there,
Yeah, absolutely.
is as T had mentioned, is really we built this as a mechanism to give back to the community. And with the compounding strategy, each time that we compound, obviously we get a little bit of that portion with the chart that we have in the Discord there. And through that, like essentially, yes, we get a very small percentage of the mint, but really it's a long-term investment for us as well. Like it continues to incentivize us to keep this in a good working fashion, because we won't yield our passive income from this project, just like our investors won't, if we don't properly, be the good arbiters of this. So versus, the traditional NFT model that, like you were saying and kind of highlighted, I really like to break down, because there's so many of these types of projects, and we highlight a lot of them on AVAX, and literally we have a term that we call them cash grabs. That it's literally you launch a collection, you may have some basic utility and nothing further promised. The people mint it, you make a decent a little bit of money, and then you have nothing further promised. Whereas with this model, it literally continues to incentivize us as well as our investors as it continues and grows further.
Yeah, super cool. And what was the third guild? Sorry, you had the coin guild, the NFT guild. What was the third one?
HQ.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I think the guild system that you have really is attractive, because you get to bring, three different communities in there, and let them benefit, from their interest, but then also get tied in with those other communities. And it all becomes like a self-funding ecosystem, and I really like that. Okay, cool. So now that we kind of understand everything, we talked through the NFTs, we understand the tokenomics. Everyone can look at the chart if they want a deeper look into that. What I'd really like to kind of launch into is kind of just your business and investment strategy that you guys are going with, and the things that you're looking for as far as partnerships, and then real world businesses, and how you're going to use those to kind of feed the ecosystem and kickstart everything.
Yeah, so
Yes.
all the partnerships that I facilitate are through, basically the partnerships that I have. A lot of people know me as a business developer, as somebody that will come in and at least help people get the tools for success that they need. The primary points that I try to bring to people are organization, some past experience, and just really driving some key points home and really developing brands. We see the common mistake that is made on the blockchain time and time again, to where people view it as just a project and not a business, and so they try to reinvent the entire wheel. And whereas there's proven steps and models for these things that could be brought out, and then just add the Web3 portion where it makes sense. Just because you're a crypto project doesn't mean it's all going to be Web3, 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 Web3. Then how do you ever get buy-in? So really, that's my side that I focus on. T had a little bit of delay there, so I kind of just hopped in. So I'll segue over to him.
Yeah, no, we're really all about organic growth, and so building a community was really important. So we kind of partner with other communities and other projects that we are bullish on, and that we can see a future with, and that are kind of also taking that mindset, like Life was saying, of being more than just a project, being a business as well. So we look for a lot of partnerships. We look for AMAs. We support the people who support us, and vice versa. People who support us, we support them. And so that's kind of how we build, we grow, and we market.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's a good plan. And then obviously, leveraging all the different connections that you already have, I think is instrumental. So much of life is about who you know. So, and knowing the right people and the good people that want to help you build the right way. And for my connections with Life, he works with nothing but good people. So I think there's obviously a strong opportunity to continue to build your community there. Okay, so kind of circling back a little bit, I wanted to kind of dive in a little bit more on the raffle system and how that's going to work. I know it's in the white paper. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but I just wanted kind of like a further explanation on like what your plans are there. What's that going to entail?
Yeah, so a little bit of that is still in development, with like the amount it's going to cost for you to get into sweepstakes, and what prizes are going to exactly look like, because we are still waiting on contracts and stuff, and we're trying to work out the kinks with that. So bottom line, you'll get to stake your AVAX SPY and earn our utility token, our illiquid utility token, the espionage token, and so you'll then be able to use that espionage token to buy into those sweepstakes. And so we don't have a set number yet, because we still have to figure out, the amount of espionage being distributed daily, and what the prizes are going to look like. So that is still to be determined. But essentially, you'll be able to buy into those sweepstakes with our espionage token.
Yeah, so really it's dictated upon the missions rate that we get in the contracts. So like it's a previous example that we had. You'll stake, say you get 10 a day from an AVAX SPY, then we'll look at the total pool that are available based on how many people are actually staking, instead of just trying to flip the NFTs for profit. Because we know that there'll always be those people. You can't ever stop that. People just, don't even really care about what you're building. They're just going to buy in because they see the speculation and then try to flip it when it's high. So we'll always evaluate the total amount of tokens that are out in the ecosystem, and then what we can afford with the sweepstakes fund as far as prizes to make sure do that. So it's a really a dynamic thing all around. Is we never, like I said before, we never want to pigeonhole ourselves into something that will destroy us later. We've built this to be dynamic from day one. The contracts will be built to be dynamic, and so that way we can respond to market conditions. Say we get in bull run, and God forbid another FTX happens or something like that, and we've got to go through another shake. We all know how it goes in crypto. It's boom or bust, right? So we're prepared to handle those.
Yeah, very nice. Cool. Yeah. I think that's a great outlook. And then one thing I wanted to ask, that I meant to ask earlier, and I apologize for kind of going back, is where were you? How were you guys able to fund this on your own, right? So to be able to pay a team of builders to build something like this, I mean, you guys had to have put a lot into this. So how were you able to fund it initially without taking on the VCs and things like that?
Yeah, so this has been grassroots. I have been, the founder, the builder, the dev behind it. Up until this point, we've hired a dev, we've hired a community member, obviously, have hired Life. And so, starting out, I took this as a learning opportunity. I kind of want to go back to really the beginning of Spy Financial, how it kind of came to be an idea. So with the designs and everything, with the art, like I was mentioning before, I have a clothing brand, and so I was getting into the NFT space, and I was working with my designs with my clothing brand, and I looked at one of my designs and I was like, I wonder what this would look like. I wonder if I could do this. I wonder if I could make a collection out of this. And so I took that design and I started making hand drawn different attributes, so like hats and squiggles and all these different things. And I generated it and everything, and I kind of sat on it. I kind of continued to brew the idea of Spy Financial, and I moved past that collection and kind of made a new collection, which is going to be our Gen 1. So that art is already done. But um, when I kind of brought the ideas of Spy Financial to life, because I was worried about some things with some legalities and some security worries, uh, he brought up, I brought up this the Stickman Squad to him, and I was like, I don't know about this collection. I don't know if I want to release it. I don't really like the art. And he was like, come, let's just do a free mint. Let's gamify it. Let's figure out something for it. And so that's what we did. We really built something out of that, and built it from there. And then kind of I kind of took that as a learning opportunity to keep growing my skill set. So I learned how to make a website. I made it decentralized, so it's hosted on IPFS. Was able to get a contract for this free mint, and we kind of just kept it rolling from there until it got to the point where I'm not necessarily able to do some things that we need to get done in the time frame we need to get done, because I would still like to grow that skill set and that mindset. But with the time frame that we would like to get things done and to push things out, we've decided to bring more people onto the team.
Yeah, and
So
I just want to add one last little point to that, because he was going to throw this away, and it was like, I always believe and try to preach and tell others that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And so just because it isn't you don't come swinging with a AAA game or top tier art or top tier utility or anything like that, starting with humble beginnings and allowing your community to get in at the base and grow with you is part of what you sell in yourselves as well too. So giving this out as a free mint showed that, hey, look, this was just a basic little doodle art stick figure. We know it's a stick figure, and we embrace that. We joke that it's a stick up, or we use the funny little corny humor about it. But really, there's a gamification that's built with this as well too. So if you look at the Gen 1 mint when it goes live, it's going to require that you have a stick. So either you're going to basically, if you don't have one already, you're going to have to purchase a stick from the secondary, add an AVAX, and burn that stick to get an AVAX SPY, or you're going to go and get an AVAX SPY from the secondary. So there's going to be this like counterbalance of price between the two collections until the sticks are just basically burnt out. So when somebody demands too high of a premium of the AVAX SPY, it's going to be more cost effective for somebody to go and buy a stick, add the AVAX, and make their own AVAX SPY, right? Whereas the inverse is true. If somebody is trying to get way too much out of their stick, then why would I buy the stick and then have to add the AVAX to get a SPY? I'm just going to go to the secondary and get the SPY. So that way people can play a speculation game if they want to. They can decide, okay, you know what? I just want to get into the AVAX SPYs as soon as possible. So I'm going to burn all my sticks, add the AVAX, get a ton of SPYs, and get them staked so I can get an espionage coin as soon as possible. Or you can go, you know what? I'm going to play the rarity game. And the more and more sticks that get burnt out, the more and more premium that it potentially can charge. Because if we're thinking about this overall, our floor has been somewhere. You're more up to date on this. I want to say, and I'm just going to throw a number out there. I think it's been at least like 0.2 AVAX. It's been higher and lower, but I'd say an overall average is probably around right there. So if you're thinking about this, to get an AVAX SPY, it'd really be like 1.2 AVAX, right? So that's going to bounce back and forth in terms of cost efficiency.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. All right. I appreciate the breakdown there. And then kind of T, you kind of talked about it just a little bit earlier, and something I wanted to ask about is going to be the evolution of the art. Do you want to touch a little bit on that with your plans of how you're going to evolve the art for the future collections?
Yeah, so the art is definitely going to evolve from just the baseline stickman. We already have the art done for the AVAX spies, which I will go ahead and drop. And then, moving on from that, we do hopefully plan to evolve the art, once again, and just keep leveling that up because as this is a journey for me in a dev space, it is as well as an artist space as well. Because I've done the art for each collection. I'm working on the art for another collection, and I'm just learning as I go. So I'm actually going to drop one of our AVAX spies in here real quick if I can find it, and you guys could get a little sneak peek. Let's see here. It doesn't look like I do have the permissions to drop in any files. So basically what the AVAX spies will be, we'll have different attributes, different colors. They're going to be these little round dudes, kind of similar shape head to the stickmen, but they're going to be more kind of like human looking. They will have, fedoras. They'll have some glasses. They'll have some mustaches. You might see some of those here and there. You'll see some hoodies. You'll see some overcoats. Overall, just a bunch of different traits, but it'll be a 1-to-1 amount to the stick. Since you do have to burn a stick to get an AVAX spy, there will be 1,000 AVAX spies.
You should be able to drop a picture in the AMA chat.
It's saying
If not, you could
create thread or use / command.
Here, just drop it
okay.
over to me. I've got permission.
Okay,
I think it's
alright.
because
Yeah.
I'm a.
Yeah, you got a higher role. You should be able to.
Yep.
If not, I'll get that sorted out after. And if he can't do it, you could just send it to me and I'll drop it in there.
Perfect. Alrighty. Give me just one moment here, and I'll drop that over.
I do see a question from Degenic. So upgradable versus immutable seems to be increasingly important distinction in the blockchain, and it seems like upgradability is rapidly becoming a key determinant of operating structure and legal regulatory liability. Couple that with the recent ruling of Gemini Earn that the crypto became the property of the firm servicing the product and would be included in their bankruptcy versus reverting it to depositors. And it seems like the negatives of upgradability versus the Uniswap model, forklift migration to new contracts, are starting to outweigh the positives. How are you thinking about this? So I haven't looked into the Gemini Earn directly yet, but I definitely will be pulling that up and look into that based off your question here. And I would say the way that we're doing upgradability and things like that, I don't think really leverages the use of this here. Because you're burning that initial NFT not to us. We're not taking that NFT. It's literally being burned off the blockchain. I forget the name of the servicing, but it's one of the big ones. Okay, cool. I will definitely check into that. Degenic, thank you. But because the fact that we're not taking them back in, and we're having them be burnt off the blockchain essentially, because they'll be burned through contract. It's really like more of a replacement than an upgrade. But it does come with an upgrade for the ecosystem. The reason why we're using a liquidity list token is to combat some of these issues, and it's just going to be a utility token. So it's not like potentially running into some of the waters of like Bored Ape Yacht Club or something where you could only get that, the token from staking the NFT because there's no liquidity attached. A lot of these court cases are based on how you can assign value. And since we do potentially, there's part of the Howie that you could look at that you could say, well, these guys are actively managing the investments and things like that. And so the counterpoint of that is exactly the key point of the guilds. And using the guilds, we're literally just setting the foundation. After that, we're going to open it up and have the community availability. So that way we don't run amok of that side of it as well. Yeah, so no user funds in the upgradable contract. 100%. Yes, no issue. Yep. I'm glad you brought that up, though, because that is definitely something that I keep in mind a lot, and it's a lot of the work that I do here. And I got this image from T here, so let me grab this up real quick. I'm going to have to convert it over because Discord likes to put it in files, but you guys can move on while I do this here.
Yeah, well, I kind of I appreciate the breakdown and the great answer to the legal question. That's a great question by Dejanic. I'm glad he asked it. It's great that you guys are thinking about that, which I know you were from numerous conversations we've had about other projects. I know that stuff is, always on the forefront of your mind, considering your business savvy there. So really, the only question I have left that we kind of punted towards the end is really about the miner spies and then kind of the mining farm plans. So if you guys want to launch into that, and okay, I see the art there. That's cool. I like it. Yeah, everybody check that out. That is pretty dope. Simple but dope. I like it. So if you guys want to kind of launch into the minor spies and the alpha you're planning on dropping there, let's get into it.
Okay, so yeah, no, this is the way we kind of want to bridge our Web 2 and Web 3, and kind of bring more blockchain kind of validity. Because Avalanche, they don't operate on a proof of work consensus; they operate on a proof of stake consensus. So we'll be looking at different blockchains that have different consensuses that we can work on, and me and Life will work together in figuring out the logistics of this, because this is still in development, but we will ultimately bring it to the community as well to see what they think. We both have experience in mining, Life a little bit more than me, but we both have dealt with some GPU mining. I've dealt with ASIC miners. I've actually got some running behind me right now. I've got some GPUs mining as well, so I'm mining cryptocurrency, how to set it up. I've worked with some radio frequency miners, some air filtration miners. I've worked with a variety of different mining hardware and software techniques. There's also cloud mining that we will consider and look at as well. But this is ultimately another way that we want to bring back utility and give back to our community. But it is still in development, so that's why we haven't really released too much about it. We do kind of want to look at something like looking for renewable energy, or something that can help us bring energy costs down. So we'll kind of look at different areas that we want to set up, or maybe come to the community and see if they want to start a solar farm and get rewards that way first, or if they want to go ahead and just start off with a mining farm. But that's kind of what we have set up for right now. Life, if there was anything else you wanted to add on top of that, feel free.
Yeah, so the few ideas that we had, he touched kind of real quickly on, was not only it's going to have stages. So it's not going to be like we get to the Gen 2 mint and it's going to be like, this is what we roll out all in one stage. So Gen 2 is where we really begin to, like, we should have enough funds from not only the mint, but our investments at that point, to where we can basically bring this up and say, okay, here's what we have raised for capital. Here's our options. And one of them, like he touched on real quick, would be like, a solar farm. And so we can actually use that in conjunction to maybe make a green mining setup, because I know that's a lot of the kickback that mining gets, is that it uses a lot of energy and things like this worldwide. So we really want to make sure that we're looking at this from every angle. And so we will allow the community to choose based off the funds we have, that the phases that we go through. Part of them that we will loop back into this as well, not only with the mining, is we will have some additional through T's company here, is we'll have some additional, like, gear, swag, drip, whatever you want to call it, whatever the cool name is for these days, that people can use to represent the options and bring scalability in that. Part of the partnership that he's already doing, I know we have some future incentives and initiatives that we're working on in the Egoverse, because I work for them as well, that we've already partnered for. But essentially, we'll be using every real life business that we set up. So say it's a solar farm, maybe we can't do the miners at that point in time, but maybe we run across another project that's like, hey, look, I really want to run miners, but doing it myself, the cost of electricity here or something. So maybe we can offer that as a service to another project, and basically become a business to where we're offering that space and availability for somebody else to mine. And then maybe we don't even have to mine ourselves, but it's a mining business because we're supporting the electricity side through solar. Or maybe we decide to go, mining first, and somebody does have a solar farm that we could, partner with, and vice versa. So we're looking for all that interoperability between any other project and or business that we can find in Web 2 or Web 3 at that point. Because we really believe that the key point of getting more people involved in crypto is doing just that. Utilize the technology where it's needed and don't use it where it's not. Not the whole world has to be rewritten just because crypto is coming to the forefront.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think that's a good plan. I think you guys are thinking about it the right way too. And then definitely, that's going to attract a lot of people with your, when you're looking at using solar and stuff like that. Those type of people who are looking for, who have the wrong image, right, of crypto and think that everything within it takes, a massive amount of power to do. I think that's attractive and another way that we're going to be able to onboard users at mass scale as we move forward. So I think that's super cool. I appreciate you breaking that down. All right, so I guess the final question that I kind of have is really one that I like to ask, just kind of like a general question is how does this project, what causes this project to fail? Plain and simple. Right? How does this not work?
From a business operations standpoint, I could say, obviously we're going to have diversification as our first rule on the investments that we do for SPY Financial. But there's a few things. I mean, some overwhelming regulation, if it comes across, could lead to a way that, could choke us off from a lot of our future goals. And of course, we'll try to pivot, but that, that could potentially, us being US based, be an issue that we crossed. Nobody has a crystal ball with the future, so leaving that open. Market conditions, over time could definitely lead to it. Even though we're going to be diversifying, obviously, as we've seen, crypto bleeding as a whole, yeah, we can make some APR, we can make some profits and things like that. But if we can't get it to a level of sustainability, right? Whereas if we're in these investments, they're making good money, we have them locked in and positioned, and then first, there's a big model change. Like Ethereum went from proof of stake, proof of work to proof of stake. So it's if we were all in invested in Ethereum miners, obviously we would have to do a pivot and rework. So I would never say that we're set up to fail. Obviously, anybody who wants to run a business or a project never wants to have that look. But it's just going to be the general crypto risks, right?
Yeah, and with that, I kind of want to add, I think the only way that we wouldn't really succeed is if we don't put the time in. Like we were kind of saying earlier, if we don't help the community grow, if we don't help this project grow, we don't benefit as a team. We don't benefit. So, I think, moving on top of that is the community, having a community behind us, working with our community, taking in their suggestions, working with those suggestions, I think will also help us, achieve our goal and ultimately their goals, whatever that may be.
Yeah, awesome. I think I've just seen, over time when people start businesses, they're always focused on what do we got to do to succeed? What do we got to do to succeed without taking that, counter approach of like, okay, what do we have to do to fail too, right? Because if you're thinking about how it fails, that, that drives your ability to make it succeed. So I think you guys have a really good mindset behind the whole process from start to finish with how you're building it, how you're diversifying it, your roadmap, your plans, building it slow and steady, and then also, focused on those little things that could trip you up. I mean, you're thinking about regulation, you're thinking about all these different things, and really appealing to like a wide audience. And I think it's pretty cool. I think you guys got a really good mindset there. So that's kind of it for me for the questions. The last thing I want to do, we do have how many NFTs are you guys wanting to give away?
We have
today?
3 of our Genesis NFTs. We have 3 secret stickmen to give away today. So however you kind of want to do that, I do have a wheel right here that I can spin with all the names of the people in the space if you want to do something like that, or if you maybe had a different idea that we could go about doing this giveaway.
No, That's awesome. I'm actually having some issues with my giveaway bot that our lead mod is gonna fix for me here in a little bit. It like won't let me post the giveaway bot anywhere. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and spin the wheel, we can announce those winners live, and then I'll get your final words on the project after that.
Okay, perfect, awesome. I'll go ahead and run these. I'll also take screenshots and I'll send them over to Life or to you, and then you can post those here in the Discord, just so we can get another layer of verification that we got those winners in there. So I'm spinning the wheel. Got about I think 22 people in here. So we've got the first winner being I Need Volkswagen Parts. I Need VW Parts. You won our first. Go ahead and remove you from the wheel once I take this screenshot real quick. So congratulations. You'll go ahead and join our Discord, open up a ticket, and we'll get you set up for that. See here. Sure, I get this screenshot over. Alrighty. And then we'll move, and then we'll shuffle, and I'll spin again. And our second winner for a stick is going to be a very frequent giveaway winner that we have is going to be Timeless. Timeless, you won yourself another stick. Go.
Backing them up, huh?
Timeless is a great supporter of our project. We love Timeless. She's won a lot of our giveaways. She's always here, always showing up. So there is our second winner. It's Timeless, and then we'll go ahead and run another one for the third winner of the last stick. The last secret stickman will be going to Floppy Flopster. So Floppy Flopster.
Congrats, Floppy.
Let's go.
Yeah, very frequent in our AMAs and a big supporter on all these. Congrats, Floppy.
Alrighty, so if everyone that did win today, if you could open a Discord ticket in our Discord, and just let us know where you came from, about what you want, and we'll get you squared away for that. But I'm sending those images over to Life right now, and yeah, that's what we have for the giveaways.
Perfect. I'll get them posted up too in the AMA chat just so people can see those. We always like to be transparent about everything that we do.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll drop the invite link to the Discord.
Perfect. Yeah, while you're talking about that, I kind of did want to go on our transparency rant a little bit of, we do like to be transparent. We do like to bring those things to the community. So anytime we do a giveaway or we're like making, transferring funds to the guild wallets, we like to be transparent with that. And we will post the transaction IDs, we'll post the links to the transactions. And I'm kind of looking in the future to kind of bring some knowledge with that as well. And kind of teaching people how to operate or, kind of look through some smart contracts or be able to actually operate the blockchain explorers, because, you may be able to give somebody the link to the blockchain explorer and this transaction ID, but they may not be able or may not have the knowledge to go and figure that out and look up, what this transaction is, what it means, what all the different integers mean, and the different the fees and all the different components to this transaction. So I think that is something that needs to be brought up more, and really educating people in this space is important.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think education is key, especially with how rapidly this space evolves. Just making sure that people have all the information and knowledge that they need so that they can be successful. So I love that. So, all right. So for the last thing, just I'd like to give the last word here. Minus obviously the closing to you guys for your final thoughts and the last little bit you want to put out there about what you're doing.
Yeah, I just want to once again thank you for hosting the space, having us here today on your Discord. It's a wonderful place. I've actually checked it out here and there. You've got a lot of helpful chats and everything, so I do appreciate that you're building this kind of community here. I just want to give you props for that. And I want to appreciate and thank everybody who is here in the audience as well, taking the time out of your day to come and listen to us, Spy Financial, what we had going on, what we have going on, and what we will continue to develop and build.
Yeah, and I just want to throw out there, anybody who is not currently a member of Spy Financial, if this interests you or anything like that, please join the Discord. It is a way that you can get engaged. I'm going to run some basically incentives here probably in the next week to get some people some sticks from my personal collection for investors that are not currently in the community. Because I fully believe the more people we have, the more decentralized we get the sticks, and the more voice and vision that we'll have to help drive Spy Financial in the future. So just make sure that you tap in at least. There's not a lot going on right now, as it's more on the building stage, and obviously people are just patiently awaiting those contracts and the Gen 1 and the gamifications to start. So you're still early. You're not late.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, everybody. Thanks again to T and Life for coming on here, talking about their project. I really appreciate your time and being willing to share this with the community. And thanks so much, everyone in the audience, for joining us. Hop in their Discord, check out their socials, get involved. They got a really good team, and I think they got a really good plan. Once again, I'm Relentless from DeFi Raiders, and we'll see you next time.